This to me is like reverting back in time. Super raw, super simple. It's like a communication with the car. There's not a lot of sound deadening, so I can actually hear the gears turning, I can hear the synchros working, I can feel through the steering wheel if I'm cornering a little too fast, I can feel it. So this is my first 911, and I wasn't really looking for another project. I'm currently restoring a 356 as well. And I thought, oh, maybe I'll have time to just sneak one in, make something real simple, something I can just leave outside and enjoy on the weekends. I thought, let's just do something kind of quick and dirty, and then it ended up turning out a little better than I expected. That's just my nature. I think I probably overkilled it. It's a car that I've learned to love. It wasn't something I thought I was gonna like as much as I did, but it's really become a fun project, and it just keeps evolving. I could think back to a kid. I would be on the floor. I'd be taking apart stuff, toys. I would take apart my toys. I was playing with erector sets, if you know what that is from my era. There's Lincoln Logs, all these things that I would take apart. I would buy a brand new toy and take it apart. And my mom would come in and say, are you sure you know what you're doing? Are you gonna be able to put this back together? And I'm like, oh, sure, Mom, no problem, I got it, this is easy. And I mean, fast forward like 40 years later, and I'm still, putting it back together. It's kind of human nature, I think, to go for the hunt, find the chase, go through the motions of getting the parts. So when this car started as a project, it needed everything. It was just a bare, stripped shell. So I had complete freedom, artistic freedom to make it how I wanted it. And that involved only adding pieces that I needed. So for me, it was I need an engine, I need a steering wheel, I need some brakes and a transmission. And that's kind of what it is today. It's not much more than that. It's basically all you need to be able to drive it. Yeah, the color was pretty contentious. In fact, the car got its name from my son, who doesn't like the color. He thinks it looks like mac and cheese. And that's its name, Mac. So the color, to me, goes back to the revert. You're reverting back to the simpler times, the retro times. This is a very 60s kind of color to me. I didn't want something super flashy, and I didn't want something super dull either. I wanted to pick something that reminded me of the period and something that was a little bit unique. So it's called Bahama Yellow. The obstacles for me are kind of self-imposed, to be honest. I mean, I put a budget on this car, a limitation on it to be very low budget. And trying to restore a car is hard, and trying to do it with a low budget is another layer of complexity. So you gotta source parts yourself, you gotta fix parts yourself, and you gotta kind of take what other people don't want and make it work. So that's what I was able to do with this car. It's currently driving with a 912 engine, and that was really driven by budget and kind of trading up, keep trading up. So that 912 engine will then get replaced with this one, a 3.2 liter 911 engine. Other people appreciate it because you don't necessarily have to have a lot of money to be a car person. Doesn't matter if it's Porsche, Volkswagen, Chevy, it doesn't really matter to me. I think the methods are appreciated by those who can only afford so much. And if you're doing the work yourself, I sort of show how that's possible by starting with a wrecked shell and turning it into something that has some value and super rewarding throughout the whole experience. And I think other people are missing out on the journey. I get it all the time. You're not doing it right, you're putting the wrong parts on the car, and I'm fully aware that the parts on this car are not from a 1974, and I use that to my advantage. I mean, the parts availability from Porsche, anywhere from 65 to like 89, they'll pretty much fit on the car. So rather than looking for original parts, I can look at multiple cars and really take the best of each of the cars and put it on this one. And of course, it's not what Porsche intended, but it's not Porsche's car anymore.